Good evening. Welcome to the February 26th Lebanon Board of Works meeting. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, move on to the roll call members. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Sure. Mayor Gentry.
Here.
Becky McClure.
Present.
Bill Stoner.
Present.
Dick Robertson.
Here.
Alan Milburn.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, on to the approval of the minutes from our previous meeting. No minutes yet. All right, we'll take those at our next meeting then.
Financial report.
I had heard that was coming, so we're all good. No worries. Department head reports then. First up will be Police Department. Chief Morgan.
Folks, good evening. Since our last meeting, the Lebanon Police Department has responded to 658 calls for service. A total of 23 people were arrested for the following crimes: 13 for operating while intoxicated, 2 were wanted on a warrant, 2 for domestic battery, 2 for theft, 1 for battery, 2 for intimidation, 1 for possession of a controlled substance. In that same time frame, LPD took 38 crash reports and sent 1 gun permit off to the state for final approval. Our 3 new guys that are at the academy have completed their first week, their first breakout week, covering the EVO, firearms, and stops training. Brianna Deckard has completed phase 3 of the FTO program and is starting phase 4, which will be the last phase. She should be released and on her own before the end of March. Lieutenant Williamson has completed a police background investigations course. This was at Zionsville Police Department. This comprehensive 3-day course teaches background investigators the basic techniques and procedures for conducting a pre-employment background investigation of new public safety employees. And then I just had a little note to fill you guys in on the plumbing. Since it's going to be a couple of months before the plumber can address our sewer line, I called him on Tuesday, and he sent one of his workers out to our facility. And in a couple hours, that worker got most of our toilets working, so they flush and they don't leak anymore. So he said that'd be a temporary thing until he could get there and fix them permanently. That's all I have.
Hey, Chief, any questions for Chief from the board? From the public? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I don't think we have fire department tonight. They've been kind of hit with the flu bug, so no fire department report tonight. Next will be Parks and Recreation. John Messenger.
Good evening. We have had some interesting weather, to say the least, since our last meeting this month, which we were out clearing snow and ice, and as well as clearing trees and brush on the trail, and short sleeves one day and long sleeve. It's Indiana, isn't it? We were doing prep work on the pool, along with installing a new dump bucket next week. Our crew has also been power washing the deck and working on the water slides. Next week, we will be removing and replacing mulch downtown and working down there. So be mindful of our employees, please. They'll be down there about all week working, make that look pretty down there. Our second round of open interviews will take place this Saturday, March 2nd from 9 to 1. Applicants must be at least 15 years old, and starting pay is $11 an hour. We had a very successful open interviews back in February or earlier this month. Just outstanding. Had 25 applicants, so that's pretty impressive. Just really enthused. Hopefully, anybody 15 above, come on out, and from 9 to 1. Hopefully, we'll get you in and give you a nice interview. We will be hosting events on Saturday, April 6th, and Monday, April 8th for the 2024 solar eclipse. On April 6th, we will have a pickleball tournament, cornhole tournament, inflatable games, food trucks, and a live band. For more information, feel free to call our office or check out our social media website. Joe LePage has just done an outstanding job on preparing our city for that, and I think he just needs to be commended for everything and his hard work, keeping us all on the same page. Just outstanding. It's a lot of work, and I appreciate Joe a lot. Our 2024 Easter egg hunt is set for Saturday, March 30th. We will have a special needs hunt beginning at 9:30, and other hunts will begin at 10:30 a.m. There will be 3 different age groups, 2 to 4, 5 to 7, 8 to 10. This is a free event, and we hope to see everybody there. Also want to thank the police department. They did some good detective work and found some things that were stolen, and I appreciate that. And unfortunately, we had a couple days of nice weather last week, and we had some vandalism in the restroom on those 2 nice days. Again, the police, Ty, did an outstanding job talking to the parents, and our video cameras sure did help a lot. And all of them have been resolved, and unfortunately, some of them, well, 12 kids won't be coming to the park at all this year and have some restitution, some other things to pay. But I want to thank the police department for all their hard work and everything they've done.
Thank you, John. Any questions for John from the board? From the public? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next will be Engineering Department, Kevin Krulik.
Thank you. Good evening. Engineering report for tonight. A lot of project updates to run you through. Try to be as quickly as I can. Council room AV upgrades. Obviously, this is now up and operational. They just finished late last week. Really pleased with the results. Really, the only thing left for us to do is some training that we've got later in the week, but essentially, you know, we're in really good shape. Can't thank Joe and Matt Hutton enough for helping to make sure this all got coordinated, but we're in really good shape. I also saw that even the equipment is all been installed, including the pockets, the table pocket upgrades that you approved in a change order at the last meeting. That has now been installed, and we are actually working with our consultants, our contractor on this to upgrade the wireless connections in the room. So we just received that change order today, so it'll be before you at your next meeting, but that'll be one other piece of equipment I think we're going to throw into this upgrade just to make things really sing in here. So, but I hope everybody's happy with the upgrades. I think they did a really great job. Downtown projects, the Alley-Oop project, a project by the Heart of Lebanon. We were just really helping out, or the folks at the Department of Public Works have really been helping out on relocating and burying some sump lines so they're not discharging out into the new alley improvements. We've completed all of our concrete saw cutting and removal, our trenching. We've completed all the plumbing work. That's all been backfilled with flowable fill, and the sidewalk was re-poured today. So we're really just waiting to wrap up asphalt patching as soon as weather and availability of material allows. And that will just then pass that project back off to the Heart of Lebanon to continue their efforts there. Fordyce Street. Remind everyone that's getting ready to kick off, which will include trail extensions from East Street to Park Street, trails, curbs, walks, and resurfacing from Park Street to Grant Street, and then a full reconstruction from Grant out to John Bart Road, all to coincide with the new elementary school that will open in August of 2025. Since we've last met, we've had some successful meetings with the Centenary United Methodist Church and good conversations with Mental Health America of Boone County, and we've got temporary access figured out for both those entities, which I think was really important, so they aren't having to deal with all the construction traffic with a population of users and people that would have to come and go from time to time through that construction corridor. So we're going to construct a temporary driveway up onto Essex Street that will allow access to both those parking lots. It really will help eliminate some of the traffic that will have to drive through the construction site, which the contractor will be responsible for maintaining at all times. But that should help alleviate some of the concerns there. Our next steps, we've got a pre-construction meeting scheduled for the 7th, so a week from this Thursday. And then we're also looking with the contractor to get a public meeting scheduled sometime in the next 2 weeks to allow the public to come in and meet the contractors, hear from them on schedule, and raise any concerns or questions that they might have. But we are getting ready to get things started. Probably the first thing you'll see happening is some tree clearing that will have to happen, and getting those trees out of the way before ban associated with the bat season will be important here in the next couple of weeks. Yeah.
Are you planning to do that public meeting still at Centenary?
We would like to. Obviously, we need to verify with you, but we appreciate the offer that Centenary has made to host that.
I just didn't know whether Bill had gotten back with you on that or not.
Bill has said they're happy to host. We're just waiting from our contractor on when we want to have a meeting at a date when they can be effective towards that audience, that we have schedules worked out so that they can really answer questions and make that meeting as effective as possible. So as soon as we know that, and it may be a week or so before we do, but we will get that scheduled. But thank you for your efforts in helping us to coordinate with Centenary. It was extremely helpful. Riley Road project, really that's just a widening drainage and sidewalk project. That's getting ready to get kicked off. We had our pre-construction meeting on the 15th. And our next step is really we're waiting on the CenterPoint, the gas company, to relocate a main that goes through that site that is in conflict with our proposed storm sewer. They have told us they should start that work this week and be finished sometime in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So have not seen anybody out there on site, but hopefully they'll be out there this week and be working to lower that gas main. Lizatville Road Drainage Project. Again, we had a pre-construction meeting with our contractor on the 20th, and we've gotten them through all of our legal reviews with the Dinsmore team on our easement dedication documents. We're just finalizing those and getting those out to the homeowners for execution. And as soon as we have those easements in place, then we will issue a notice to proceed to the contractor for construction work this summer. Other active living programs, just generally speaking, the wayfinding signage, utility relocates have been called back in, expected to be finalized this week, and we'll begin the wayfinding signage installation. Look for publishing of the new 2024 sidewalk cost share program applications here in the coming days. We'll put that out on social media as soon as that is available. Also want to point out we're working with consultants on revising scope on potential projects that would lead to the planning of the Midland Trace Trail. As we wrap up the Big Four Trail, we want to see that we're working towards the next major trail corridor through the region. And that would be the Midland Trace Trail going from Lebanon east to the Westfield area and southwest as well. But that's a planning project that's on the horizon. Regional detention or regional conveyance systems are moving forward. Just today, we resubmitted hydraulics and construction documents to NDOT. They wanted us to remove a surface drainage culvert in that area and combine it with our subsurface drainage piping. So we did that design modification and have resubmitted those hydraulic calculations for their consideration. Hopefully, we'll be able to release that shortly. Chadwick Ditch drainage improvements. We had our kickoff meeting on the 16th, and we're working through various permitting and construction options with our consultants. Witt Road, jumping across town. Full reconstruction of that is scheduled for 2027. Preliminary field check plans are wrapped up, and we're just looking to schedule that preliminary field check meeting in the spring. Our environmental studies are also expected to wrap up at the end of March, and then we'll be moving into right-of-way buying pending environmental approval and pending contract amendments for the right-of-way buying. The Grant Street project, getting ready to kick off again here shortly. Really just have the tree plantings and street resurfacing and striping to get done this year. And we're setting our sights then on phase 2, which is to extend the Grant Street project south of Washington Street all the way down to Indianapolis Avenue. Again, a 2027 project, and we're just going through the right-of-way buying process as we speak. Noble Street and County Road 300 North, no awards yet, but we'll expect awards on those NDOT applications for reconstruction probably around early April. We'll keep everybody posted as we get closer to those dates. Let's jump to park projects. Stone Eater Bike Park at the top of the list here. Just remind everyone, this is a American Rescue Plan, Ready funded, as well as sanitation funds. No general fund monies were included in this project. These are all from existing funding sources and grants. We're working through trying to get to contract with our parking lot improvements. There will be a request at City Council later tonight where we'll be requesting food and beverage funds. Really, this is an effort to close a gap that we've seen in exorbitantly high bidding prices that we've encountered with the parking lot. We've bid the project 3 times. We think we've got it as low as we can. Really, from a true construction contract amount, we're only about $200,000 underfunded on the project right now. But in order to keep contingencies and keep things moving, we are going to request a $300,000 food and beverage grant. Keep in mind, this is a not-to-exceed amount, and we still are actively working on additional fundraising for the project through various local and regional philanthropic foundations, corporate partners, trying to reduce that number. But really, the point we're at right now is we need to wrap up the use of the Ready Plan and the Rescue Plan and Ready dollars by the end of the year. So that's the reason for the urgency and not waiting to bid this again or to delay the project any further. That's why we're asking for this stopgap measure so we can move the project forward on construction and then continue our fundraising efforts. Old Street Garage master planning efforts are ongoing. We're just working with our consultants to try to schedule surveys and public open houses and public input sessions so we can move that forward. Pickleball courts and the Abner Fishing Pier design scope is being finalized on those with potential design firms so we can move that forward. And we had our kickoff meeting on the 15th with the design firm for the Big Four Trailhead Portalet restroom facility over there behind Menards on Sam Ralston Road. So that's also moving forward. LPD projects, I thank the chief for the update there. We're working through wrapping up contracts there and getting that contractor on site to really make the major repairs to the plumbing systems. Also, actively looking at a potential new police station project. Wrapping up as we speak a building needs assessment that will probably be here at your next meeting for a presentation with our consultants at DLZ, so we can discuss that. But spoiler alert, this is a $30 to $40 million project that we're looking at undertaking sometime in the next few years. But we'll present you more details on what that building needs assessment looks like. But right now there is no schedule, there's no funding strategy in place, just looking at developing a plan for the project. Similar on a new fire station for LFD. Again, this is new construction of another fire station. The budget right now is sitting at about $8.2 million, and we're working through funding strategies at this time. But the land has been purchased, and we're just in need of funding sources so we can move that project forward. DPW projects, excuse me. I'll be asking for authorization later in the meeting, but there's a list of 21 road resurfacing projects that we're planning to tackle this year, totaling about 4.4 miles and costing roughly $1.8 million, which we would anticipate that being from existing budgeted funds in the street department through motor vehicle highway and local road and streets, as well as then bonds that were issued earlier this year, or late last year, excuse me, as well as then a 50% match from our community crossing program. So I'll get more into the details later in the meeting on that, but that program is we're looking for authorization to get that out to bid. LEAP district projects, the only real update right now is that County Road 450 North remains closed while they're doing a storm sewer crossing. And once that's out of the way, they will be gearing up this spring for the widening and reconstruction of 450 North from Witt Road all the way out to 39. Witt Road south of the Lilly site is also anticipated to go to construction in the spring. That's all I have.
Thank you, Kevin. Any questions for Kevin from the board? From the public? Yep, thank you, sir. Next will be Planning Department, Ben Bontrager.
Good evening, board members. Planning department activity over the last couple of weeks continue to remain pretty active. Completed 50 building inspections and had 40 permits issued, and that does include 4 new residential single-family homes. So still seeing good activity there. In addition, on the commercial side, we had a foundation permit that was issued for an expansion at U.S. Cold Storage. There's a tenant finish for the spec building that's on Patterson Street, just recently completed spec building, so the tenant finish is going on there. And then also remodel for Savvy Sliders, and this is at the old Taco John's location, so that's actually, I think they noticed some activity just in the last couple of days out there. On the code enforcement side, again, continue to see a lot of activity there. Just over the last couple of weeks, a total of over 100 investigative activities, ranging from sending out courtesy notices, email communications, 11 new inspections, and 16 re-inspections. So a lot of activity there. And also 23 new cases, trash and debris, unsafe housing, junk vehicles, squatters, and parking violations. So a lot of activity there. On that note, just kind of a reminder / announcement, we do have a position available in the planning department. It is our code enforcement position. So we have not started doing any interviews yet, but we have been accepting resumes for a little bit of time, and we'll continue to do so. So if anybody's interested in that position, they can find information about that job and its description on the job board on the city's webpage. One final item, we are getting ready to kick off in earnest our comprehensive plan update. We are finalizing the steering committee list as we speak, and we'll be getting those folks invited and get their first meeting scheduled sometime this month, and then we'll be very quickly identifying other stakeholder groups we want to meet with so we can get that process kicked off. So look for more updates on that as we go forward throughout this year. And that's all I've got.
Thank you, Ben. Any questions for Ben from the board? For the public? Yep, thank you, sir. Next will be Public Works Department. I think we've got Dave Newell filling in tonight.
How's everybody doing? Good deal. Some updates for DPW, I guess. Yard and debris pickup week is planned for April 22nd through April 26th. That's when we go around and get any leaves that's left over, you know, from the fall, and if you got any brush buildup, and that'll be in April. The CCMG application has been submitted for the 2024 summer paving, which Kevin probably just talked about that, but street updates, let's see, DPW had a salt and plow snow event, obviously, on Friday the 16th, so we handled that pretty good. It looked a little rough Saturday morning, but we had enough material down that we knew as soon as the sun hit it, and we were great. We got a lot of compliments from people out of town, so I was happy about that. You guys did a great job. They went home at 4 and hit back out at 5, so you know that's how that works. Focused on trash and debris, cleanup from our easements. We've been really working on that, you know, and trying to keep that going when we can get into them. It's been a little muddy here and there, but ongoing monitoring and filling of potholes. We're waiting just to see if some plants open so we can actually get some surface. I know the Indianapolis plant's open, but usually that's just for Indianapolis, so I'm going to call them tomorrow and see if we can also have access, because I know they're doing some construction at the Whitestown plant. Hopefully they get it ready. For stormwater, same thing. They're cleaning storm drains, keeping them clear debris. They completed the drainage, minus the top coat, like Kevin mentioned, up there at the Alley-Oop project, so they did a good job on that. Got it all backfilled. We buried some lines that was just creating a slick hazard, basically. It was a sub pump. Obtaining quotes for push camera so that the guys can inspect the stormwater, Ryan and them. It won't be like, you know, when you feed out from a truck. It'll just be, it goes pretty far, but it's just for what they can do. It's pretty interesting. I kind of caught some of that with Ryan. So some upcoming information. We're putting out our 2024 lemon brush season. So the week scheduled for that is May 13th through the 17th. And then we'll do June 10th through the 14th, July 15th through the 19th. And then we'll do August 12th through the 16th. September 14th through the 20th, and then we'll wrap it up on October 21st through the 25th. So we're trying to get ahead of that. In Scott's area, he had 5 SWIP inspections and 7 right away. So he's starting to pick up again too, he said, so he's getting pretty busy. And we got 2 positions we just filled, so we're all booked back up, or they will be filling, so they're getting ready to start. So that's all I got.
Yeah. Thank you, Dave. Any questions for Dave from the board?
Just one. Dave, how is the pothole situation right now?
How bad is it?
Yeah, around town. I haven't been out and around town.
Yeah, we
lately.
had about a 3-page list, if
Have
that
you?
tells you anything.
List? Okay.
When the weather gets cold and hot,
Yeah,
it's
I know,
terrible.
I know.
You know how it is. It just,
Yeah.
it'd be better really if it just stayed freezing,
Yeah.
but the asphalt just kills it when it gets cold
Stay
and hot.
freezing, then stay warm and be out, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we had a list and they went out today, I believe, or Friday and worked on that.
I haven't
so.
been out, so I was just curious how bad it is.
It's not terrible. It's usually most of our potholes are the roads we're repairing or getting ready to pave. Usually we just try to keep them going until we get to that point.
Are most of them in the areas where we're going to be repaving with the community crossing?
Yeah, for the most
Okay.
part, yes. Now you got some that, like the business park areas where we're going to have to look at, but yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions for the board? Okay, thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
All right, and last but not least, communication and community development, Jill Page.
Good evening, everyone. As you may have heard already, we have an eclipse coming up. Again, that's April 8th. It's a Monday, and the planning is continuing to be in its final stages, the tying up loose ends stages. On Sunday, met with the race organizer for our 5K, 10K. We laid out the route. It has been officially determined. It will start here. The race will start here at the municipal building. It'll go down south on East Street through Abner Longley Park and then return on Meridian Street. And so we wanted to accentuate the south side of our community with the two different things I'm going to be talking about here. The race link is live. We'll be sharing that tomorrow. It is also being marketed nationwide through Running Circles. And so this is one of those things that they're expecting between 100 to possibly 500 racers. And so the organizer that does this does several. He's doing, actually, Bloomington is also having a run leading up to the eclipse. And so they're kind of pairing these events together, Lebanon's and Bloomington. So this could potentially be a big deal or just a really cool deal for us locals here in Lebanon. So it'll be a fun race regardless. Again, I'll share that link tomorrow. We're also adding a mural to the south side of our community. Appreciate John Messenger's partnership with our Parks Department. It'll be at Abner Longley Park. We're working with a professional muralist. We've highlighted where the mural will be located. Hope to have the designs to share with you at the next Board of Works meeting, but it'll be great. One is more so eclipse themed. The other one is just a general quality of life, and you'll see it's a really neat collaborative effort to kind of having the history of our community mixing with the present and the future of where it's going. So that's continuing, as is our marketing efforts, really targeting the Lafayette areas we've talked about in the past, just to the north and west of us, where they're just on the cusp of being in the path of totality. And so TV, radio, print spots, you'll see those and hear those and read those if you go not only our local paper and local radio station, but if you go further to the north and to the west up in the Lafayette area. Also talked with our Lebanon Utility Office about adding flyers in our utility bills, just informing the public that an eclipse is happening. If they need glasses, if they need to know where the events are, we want to be able to inform the public as best as possible. And so that'll be sending out those in utility bills coming up soon. Also, after the eclipse, I'll be getting into our Summerfest. Boone County Summerfest is back this year on May 31st and June 1st. That's a Friday night and a Saturday afternoon into evening. This is the free family-friendly event. The Flying Toasters, again, are coming back on Friday night to get things kicked off. We're soliciting vendors. We've had several so far from last year, years past, that have inquired about being part of the event again. And we've also had one post out to the public. We'll have more. But if you're interested, Lovin' Lebanon at lebanon.in.gov is a place to send the email to kind of get the conversation going. And finally, coming up on Friday, the Lebanon Leprechauns are back in action. They kick off their 2024 season. It'll be the third year for the team, but the first at Farmers Bank Fieldhouse. And so the team is excited about moving into some new digs. And so we recorded a podcast earlier today with Preston Myers, who is the team president, and also one of the players, Ron Washington. And they share kind of their respective thoughts on the excitement behind this year's team, and it'll be really fun to root for them. It's a great group of guys, but that podcast will come and become live tomorrow morning, so a chance to hear about our Leprechauns. So,
When's that tip-off date again, you said?
It's coming up on Friday. This Friday at 7 p.m. is when the leprechaun season tips off. And so it's going to be kind of a little bit weird because that's when the Lebanon Tigers will have their first sectional action. So that's also Friday evening. And so they feel like the crowd will be a little bit thin. But then after that first home game, Leprechauns go on the road for 2 weeks. And so they're really hoping to kind of have Friday be kind of a dress rehearsal for the rest of the season and then hitting the ground running when they come back later on in 2 weeks.
By the way, great article in Forbes as well.
Yeah, I got picked up on our time capsule, and Fox 59 was in town today. WLFI is going to go live from Rooftop downtown, so we're really getting some positive press with our eclipse coverage, and we've always said that we could have thousands of people here, and that would be great if they're spending time here and spending money here, but if not, then we have a great local event for our 17 and change population, and so looking forward to some memories being made for locals and visitors as well. So.
Thank you, Joe. Any questions for Joe from the board? From the public? Okay, thank you, sir. All right, that concludes department head reports. Move on to old business. Anything from the board? Nothing on mine. Okay. New business then. First item up is a street closure request from the Heart of Lebanon. Topical. It is for the Eclipse event.
Good evening, Missy Krulik with the Heart of Lebanon. While I'm here, I just wanted to say a quick thank you to the Public Works Department for partnering with us on the alley oop. We knew that the sump pumps drained out onto the alley, but didn't realize the huge ice slick that it caused in the wintertime. So we're like, we can't have this be a pedestrian alley and have ice skating rink, down the alley.
Maybe we could.
It would be a pretty good slope, so you'd get a
downhill
quite the momentum down the hill. And so just an update on that. If you've drove down Washington, you might, and look down the alley, you'll see that the poles are up and the catenary lighting is all lit up at night. So it really lights up that alley really nicely and looks really nice. Also, you'll see on each pole is the brackets that the signage will go on. So you can see how big those signs are going to be. So that'll be nice as well. So right now we're working through manufacturing of some of the other elements that are going in the alley, as well as working on the signage. So just kind of wanted to give you an update there. So back to the eclipse. On April 8th, which you all know, is the eclipse. So the Heart of Lebanon will be hosting a total eclipse in the heart, which will be an all 80s event. We'll be doing events all weekend long, but the only time we need street closures is on Monday, April 8th. So this event will happen all day. It'll be from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. It'll be featuring a vendor fair, an 80s concert, an Eclipse laser science show, a tailgate party, an 80s look-alike contest, and a Rubik's Cube scramble, and more. So we have a lot of things going on in the downtown. So I'll put this on the board. So you have a copy of what we're requesting for the street closures. It looks a lot like Mischief on Meridian with a few adjustments. So Mischief on Meridian, we host around 6,000 to 7,000 people in our downtown. Our goal for this event is 10,000. So it'll be a little larger, so we need a little bit more space and some overflow spaces. So street closure request as follows. Meridian Street from North Street to South Street, and then cross the South Street to East Superior, and that'll be overflow for extra viewing area. Because if you're on Meridian Street and you look south, it's perfect view of the eclipse. So we really kind of wanted to highlight that area. And then Washington Street from Lebanon Street to East Street. Main Street from Lebanon Street to East Street, and then we'll cross East Street and go on Main Street from east to Indianapolis, and that will just be for vendor overflow for our vendor fair. Currently, if vendor applications reach over 30 applicants, right now we're at 20 applicants, so we feel like we're gonna get there, but we only want that road, we'll only close that section of street if we have enough vendors to fill that street. I thought it might be nice to take those vendors on down Main Street to reach Boone County Cake Company and Just Us on the corner. And then this would be on Monday, April 8th, from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. And also, I've submitted this to police and fire just to make sure that it went along with their transportation kind of plan and safety plan, and both the police and fire did sign off on it as being okay.
Okay. Any questions for Missy on the proposed street closure? Nope. All right. I know people aren't really totally sure about this, but I think it's going to be a bigger thing than we all realize. So I think it certainly is a big closure, but I think it will be necessary for all the people that will be here. So with that, would entertain a motion concerning the street closure.
Go ahead. Move to approve the Heart of Lebanon request for street closures as presented on April 8th, 2024, from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Thank you, Missy.
Thank you.
Now, so are you going to serenade the Total Eclipse of the Heart song for us one of these times, or?
Hired a band because you don't want me singing that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay.
All right. Next is a alley closure request, right-of-way permit for 116 West Washington Street. Kevin?
Very much. Let me connect here so I can show you the code, guys. Oh, sorry. Number code, guys, for access. There we go. All right, just real quickly, what we have is a request from Daystar Directional Drilling at 116 West Washington Street. This is really for work in the alley associated with the Boone County Health Department. So to look at the map here, we're talking about the alley to the rear of the county annex building. You can see the yellow line there where they'll be installing a new gas line. So this is just for a closure of an alley. But because that is a public right-of-way, we require this permit. And they are anticipating starting on the 4th of March and wrapping up on the 15th of March. So it's a closure of the alley at 116 West Washington Street, from March 4th through March 15th.
Any questions on that from the board? Okay, would entertain a motion to approve the alley closure request as presented.
I make a motion, we approve the alley request as presented for March the 4th through the 15th.
Motion approved. Is there a second?
Second.
A second from Alan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. All right, next item up here will be I guess I can do these ones. These are easy. These are surplus declarations for the miscellaneous office furniture from the old street department, as well as, if we want to wrap these two together, our old office furniture from the planning department. So obviously when we built the new street department garage, that included new desks, new chairs, essentially all new furniture, right? Cabinets are in there, there's old file cabinets, things like that. So the concept is to declare these surplus, make them available to local nonprofits first, and then once they've kind of had their pick of the litter, call it, then we would just essentially trash the rest. I think some of that stuff's probably back from the 70s and 80s at least. Is that fair to
Yeah.
say, Dave?
Yes, it's pretty old.
Okay.
I think the table in the break room's from the old Holiday Inn.
Oh, is that where we got them from? Fair enough.
What they
Okay.
told me, I don't.
Okay. Urban legend, right?
Yeah.
So who knows? They may be worth some money, but I don't think we have the time to try to sell them. So that's really just on the street department furniture. So any questions on that from the board?
No real value?
Most of the desks are duct taped together.
Okay.
Okay. Would entertain a motion then to declare the street department furniture surplus.
Make a motion, we declare the surplus furniture for the street department.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alan. All fair say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. And similarly with the planning department, Ben, just real quick, if you wanted to highlight. Probably not quite as old as the street department garage
Probably
stuff.
not quite as old, but it's not that new either. So as a result of our remodel, we do have a few items left over. I think there's a couple of long tables. There's 2 or 3 desks, and I think 2 or 3 file cabinets that are in some state of repair or more likely disrepair. One desk is in about 20 pieces, so if there's any value to it, I don't know what it is. So we'll be happy to maybe let somebody find some value for it. So.
Fair enough. Any questions for Ben on that? Okay, would entertain a motion then to declare the planning department furniture surplus.
I make a motion, we declare the planning department office furniture surplus.
Motion, is there a second? Second Judge, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. All right, next would be bid authorization for the 2024 street resurfacing program. Kevin?
Thank you very much. I touched on this on my report here, and if I could share my screen, I'll show you a map of all the street resurfacing projects that we are anticipating for this year. Again, this is subject to grant awards, but we'd like to go ahead and get authorization to start issuing bidding documents so that we can be ready to hit the ground running after those grant awards for community crossings come through. So there's 21 streets on here, and maybe if I jump to, this is a little less exciting here, but this is the list of all the streets that are included and the budgets that were established with these. I want to start off at the top of the list with the work on Anderson Lane. This would be partly funded from bonds that were issued late last year. What we anticipate, this project is a little different than the others. This is not just a street resurfacing project. We're going to put that road on a bit of a road diet. We're going to create a trail that's separated with a curb on the existing pavement, restriping turn lanes and things of that nature, also resurfacing the whole road. So that's a little bit more than our typical average resurfacing project, but that one is on the list. The rest of the projects on the list really come out of our pavement asset management plan. The only thing that I would say is if we jump back to the map here, when the pavement resurfacing or the pavement asset management plan might cite a street, say in the Trotwood Farms neighborhood, and it did, we feel it's not really fair to the residents of a neighborhood to just do 1 or 2 streets in the neighborhood. So they're really all the same age and all of relatively the same level of repair or disrepair, as Ben said. And so we will plan to do all the streets in that in the Trotwood Farms neighborhood. Also kind of similar, we started doing work up here in the Lakeshore area and last year. And so we're going back from last year and redoing those streets, resurfacing those streets like Lakeshore Court, Tahoe Drive, Sierra Drive, Oak Bend Court, Prestwick Court, and you can also see the Anderson Lane list up there as well. Other projects that were also listed in our pavement asset management plan are streets like Blair Street. We've also got some work down on Indianapolis Avenue with that first phase of Indianapolis Avenue reconstruction that's getting to be, I think, 12, 15 years old at this point. So it's time to resurface that as it's starting to show some wear. And while we're there, we're also going to pick up that area with Hallbaker Road and that unnamed access road that kind of cuts between Hallbaker and Indianapolis Avenue. And then we've got some other projects that are really just projects that have really fallen into some disrepair through this winter, like over on Garofalo Boulevard and Mount Zion Road. We really feel we need to take care of those. It's a little bit ahead of schedule from the pavement asset management plan, but nonetheless needed given the amount of traffic volume we see on that street. As well as Noble Street. Obviously, Noble Street is scheduled for potential reconstruction in 2028, but it's not going to make it that long. So we need to do some repair there before we, why we're in the program for 2024. So there's the overall map. As you can see, there's the list of streets. As I mentioned, 21 streets, totaling 1.8 million. And there's kind of the breakdown on how we would intend to pay for these streets. Again, using bond money and Department of Public Works budgeted lines to roughly equal our 50% match, $910,000, to this community crossing grant of $910,000 for a total of $1.8 million. What if we don't get the grant? Well, what we typically do is we have a base bid package that would equal what we have the ability to directly fund, and then we will bid the remaining streets as alternates. So if we are successful in our grant program, then we would be able to do the entire 21 street package for 2024. What questions can I offer? That's a lot of information to throw out.
Maximum grant under community crossings is $1 million, correct?
Actually, this year it went to 1.5.
1.5, okay.
Yeah, why not?
I'd love to go for 1.5, but finding the 1.5 match to go with it is the difficult part. We're stretching dollars pretty thin and cutting pretty deep into the DPW budget to make this match as it is. So,
Fair enough. Any other questions from the board?
I have a question. I'm thinking that a lot of people are really happy about Anderson Lane because it needs it really bad.
yes. We also think it's going to be a really exciting project to really connect some of the pedestrian improvements we've made in the last couple of years along Elm Swamp and Elizaville Road. Having a pedestrian connection over to the hospital, over to the Y, is going to be really a great thing for the community, and we think a really added value asset there. So we're excited to see that trail network continue to expand.
I think it does.
All right. With that then, would entertain a motion to authorize Kevin to seek bids concerning our 2024 street resurfacing program.
I'll make a motion, we approve the authorization to release the 2024 street resurfacing bids.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Sorry. Next will be
this
you
is
again.
me as well.
Performance surety release, Sunbrook sections 2 and 3.
So we've gotten requests from the developer of Sunbrook to release some performance sureties associated with Sunbrook, sections 2 and 3. I don't really have a map or anything to share with you here, but these are, sorry, can't get my notes to open up here. Various projects associated with various improvements associated with those sections. Sections 2, we're really looking about monumentation. This is survey monumentation, common area sidewalks, and the asphalt surfacing. So we are proposing that we would release those performance bonds subject to the receipt of maintenance sureties to cover those infrastructure items. In section 3, there is some pending punch list items where I would like to go ahead and get these releases approved so that once those improvements are made, those repairs are made, that we could then release section 3, common area sidewalks, curbs, intermediate asphalt, monumentation, regulatory signage, and striping. So again, all of these in section 2 and 3, various items, would be subject to administrative review of the associated repairs and subject to the posting of maintenance sureties to replace these performance releases.
Okay, that's a lot of words. Would entertain a motion to approve as presented.
I'll make that motion that we approve the surety release for Sunnybrook Sections 2 and 3.
Okay, motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
All right, and last but not least, policy updates from the Lebanon Police Department. Major Hood.
I think we've got the transition down, sharing the screens or swapping those over, so it'll be just a second. Code when you guys get a chance. Five policy updates I'm bringing to you tonight. Only two of them really have any kind of substantial change. The other three that we'll see are just going to be a reference to that statewide uniform policy on the use of force. Not to start out on such a grim topic, but line of duty deaths, we plan for the worst and hope for the best at times on here. A lot of what you're going to see in here is just going to be some punctuation and spacing changes. However, there are some, a little bit of meat to it on there. One of it is driven by the 34 U.S. Code change on here. It just specifies what a line of duty death is. As we go back through some of these, we changed a role of responsibility. Instead of having the operations major, it'd be the supervisor that was on duty at the time of the line of duty death would actually get the ball rolling. We wouldn't have to contact somebody that's probably not working at the time. That's a minor change that you'll see in there. I guess kind of the real meat of it comes a little further down on here where we start on what their roles are. These will be individuals that'll coordinate either actions with survivors, medical facilities, media, et cetera. Another change is one of those liaisons has to be dedicated to the hospital. We reference here into using members of other agencies to help with some of the liaison duties. Past experience has shown we've done fairly well, assisting each other when needed. Better defining what the roles of our public information officers are.
Major, you okay if we just do all five and then we'll approve all at once?
Yes, sir.
Is it fine with the board? Okay. Yep, it's good.
This concludes this policy with a recommendation of an approval. So I'll go on to the next one if no one has any questions on it.
Any questions on that one? Board good? Okay.
Wellness policy is the next one with just a little bit of change. It's not like the last one. This is a new content, and it's another United States Code-based adjustment to this particular policy, where the department does provide assistance to members who have become disabled in obtaining assistance. That was the sole update on this particular policy.
Any question on that from the board? Okay.
And the remaining three that we'll see, as I referenced earlier, you'll just see the reference to the Law Enforcement Training Board, the uniform policy on Fort. Shows up on this particular policy. Shows up on this particular policy. Spacing adjustment and the Law Enforcement Training Board uniform statewide policy language included into there. So these are all the updates I have for you at this time. Pending any questions, I'd ask that you approve the policy.
Thank you, Major Hood. Any questions for Major Hood from the board? Any public comment concerning these policy updates? Okay. Would entertain a motion then to approve the Lebanon Police Department SOGs as presented.
Move to approve the 5 LPD policy updates as presented by Major Hood.
Motion approved. Is there a second?
Second.
A second from Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that concludes what I have for new business. Is there anything from the board? Okay, move on to claims. Entertain a motion concerning the claims.
Make a motion, we approve the claims.
Motion to approve the claims. Is there a second? Motion second from Dick. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any announcements for discussion? Okay, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Motion adjourned. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Judge. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, our next Board of Works meeting will be Monday, March 11th at 5:30 PM. We are adjourned.